is acyclic communication. So cyclic communication is sending and receiving data at regular intervals. Acyclic data communication is you're sending or receiving data only upon request, not always. So usually for drives we go with cyclic communication only. So we have a block, common block, drive control ACS, which we discussed in the initial slide. So that block is used, and then for scaling, drive scaling is used. So this is for the cyclic communication. If you're using acyclic communication, then we have DRV Profinet read and DRV Profinet write. This is for acyclic communication. So Profinet, even though it is Ethernet based communication, it does not require IP address. It requires mainly the station name or station ID. So it depends mainly on the station name. So in drives, in 5125, there is parameter to enter the station address. So whatever you enter, you need to use in PLC as ABB drive hyphen that number. So this is the sequence you need to follow, ABB drive hyphen that number. So that will immediately capture the drive details. So IP address is not a concern here. Please do remember 5125. Next, for Modbus, register mapping was important. Whereas in Profinet, you require a GSDML file. Each slave device will have its own GSDML file. It's nothing but it will have the data about the inputs and outputs for exchange. So you need to download from the product website the GSDML file. That need to be loaded into the automation builder. So using that you can do the mapping. So in Drive, 52 group, as we all know, it's used for data into the PLC, and 53 group is data out of the PLC. So here status word, actual word, tripping fault, like that you need to map. The same thing you need to map it in the GSDML file that you have uploaded. You will get the PPO types. Select the PPO type, and then you need to map the same thing even on the drive side, sorry, PLC side also. So like status word, actual word, this should match. Tripping fault warning. If you're using 32-bit, so low word and high word. So same to same details has to be mapped both on the drive side as well as the PLC side. Similarly for data out, control word and reference, you need to map it on the PLC side also. So that's about the cyclic communication. Now let's see in the automation builder how to configure. If you have any doubt, sorry, I forgot to start the recording. So for standard PLC, how many drives or slaves, if you ask, it depends on the CM579 PNIO. So if you look at the manual of CM579 PNIO, the data sheet, it mentions how many bytes of data can be communicated. So based on that bytes calculation, you can decide how many drives or slaves can be communicated. So there is no limitation on the number of slaves, but there is limitation of how many bytes of data can be exchanged. Can Profinet communication be simulated on laptop without PLC like in Modbus RTO? We can use ModScan. So maybe there might be some softwares, paid softwares for Profinet. As of now, like we do not from ABB, we don't have any such softwares. So you need to have the actual PLC for testing. So let's use PM5082 PLC. So by the time it opens, let me install the GSTML file. So just go to ABB library, or you can go to the browser and type FPNO21. When you come down, when you go to downloads, when you go to the software, so here you will have the GSTML file for FPNO. So please download that. We need to install this for the into the automation builder. Okay, just unzip it. So in this you use the latest GSTML file. Okay. So I think you can use this latest one. Let's try. Let me create a new project. EM5082. Okay. Now let's install the GSTML file. Let me close all the windows. So I'll rename this to Profinet. So I just rename so that we can understand when I share this project. Now I'm using ETH1 for Profinet. So right click, add object, and you need to add Profinet IO controller. For master it's IO controller, for slave it's IO device. Please keep your cell phone mute. I've enabled so that if you have any doubts in between you can ask during the demonstration. So remember, for eco additional license is required, for standard additional coupler module is required. So once you add, again right click, add object. So here you need to add the FPNO 21 device. So I'll just show you once how to install the GSTML. Go to tools, device repository, install, and then you can go to the downloads or wherever you have saved it and select. So once you have installed the GSTML file, you close it. Okay, so now again go to the controller, right click, add object, and here you need to choose FPNO 21. So these two are the newly added. There are two objects here, FPNO21 and FPNO21 S2. So if you are using any S2 redundancy projects, like if you're connecting with AC800 if it supports S2 redundancy and all, that time you need to use this GSTML file. For now we are using only standalone. Once you add FPNO21, once you double click on it, you will get this station name. Okay, so here as we discussed, you need to add ABB drive hyphen the station name. So in my case, the station name is 4. So 5125, please do remember whatever is there, you need to use that. Okay, ABB drive slash 4. Don't worry about the IP address or anything. Next, right click on FPNO24, sorry, FPNO21, sorry, not there. Under empty, add object and select the PPO type. So in 51 group, what you have set for PPO type, that has to be used. So I have chosen PPO 6 in the drive 5120. Okay, this is not shown here. 5120 is for, what do you say, for the PPO type. Okay, so replace object. So here you need to do the mapping, IO mapping, as per what you have done it in that 52 and 53 group. So by default, the first two will be fixed status word and actual word. So I can use it as drive status word. And this is drive speed feedback. Drive current. And then drive DC voltage. Okay, and coming for out, drive control word, drive speed ref. So like this, whatever you have mapped in 52 group, same thing you need to map it in 53 group as well. Okay, and then once you are done, you need to create a program for read and write. So before we need to add the drives library to access those blocks. Okay, so in drives library, only for Modbus we have separately. For Profinet, these two blocks, DR, P and read, P and write. Okay, these two for acyclic communication. For cyclic communication, you need to use this basic. Drive, control, ACS. True. So this is same for ready and run. This again you will make it as true. This again true. Reset, not required. Status word. So here what you have entered in the mapping of PPO, please enter the same thing. control word, you enter DRV, whatever you have entered in the mapping. So next you will be using the scaling block. Here just two blocks, control and then scaling. Same what we saw previously. So here for speed reference, you need to create a new variable. For actual speed feedback, what you entered in the mapping, that you need to write. Okay, here in the reference speed feedback, what you have entered in the mapping. And for actual speed, okay, let's call this program. I need to compile Profinet program. Okay, so there are no errors. So once again, let's see the drive parameters before we move on. Okay.
प्लांट वाला है कि पूरा स्टार्ट है? वो आप किसी को भी स्टार्ट करके हो जाएगा। उसके लिए वो तो उसके लिए तो सब स्टार्ट ही करना पड़ेगा उसको। वो ठीक है सर, मैं समझ रहा हूँ। आप स्टार्ट कर दो तो मैं देख देता हूँ। और स्टार्ट कर दो। हाँ स्टार्ट कर दो। तो फिर आप कहते हैं सिस्टम एक बार सिस्टम स्टार्ट कर दो। ये सिस्टम प्रॉब्लम आप एक बार मुझे चेक करने दीजिए। हाँ अभी कर लीजिए। तो सिस्टम को चल रहा है, काम नहीं कर रहा है, कौन नहीं कर रहा है। एक मिनट आ गया डाटा आ गया आपका। एक बार पूरा स्क्रीन दीजिए। मेरे ख्याल से सिस्टम रिस्पॉन्ड नहीं कर रहा है, कौन रिस्पॉन्ड कर रहा है। तो ना एक बार स्टार्ट हो सकेगा तो स्टार्ट कर दीजिएगा जब भी आपको लगे। हाँ हाँ देखिए हाँ 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 बिल्कुल। सिस्टम रिस्पॉन्ड कम कर रहा है। हाँ 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 जी, इसलिए बहुत स्लो चल रहा है, रिस्पॉन्ड कम कर रहा है। मैडम फंस गई। GDML फाइल जो होती है वो सपोर्ट नहीं कर पा रहा है। हम्म, वही होगा। रिकॉर्डिंग बहुत देर की हो गई, उनको तो शुरुआत से बताना चाहिए। पॉपअप क्यों आ जा रहा है? हाँ तो बेचारी क्या कोई के साथ वापस। मैडम गड़बड़ा गया मामला यार। अब तो ट्रेनिंग हमको लगता है 3 बजे की 6 बजे खत्म होगी। मैडम हार नहीं मानेगी जहाँ तक है। यार ना सो गए थे हम तो, मैम दोबारा बताओ। हम्म। हाँ। अरे अरे, बढ़िया बढ़िया, अपना बताओ। अरे हाँ यार, ट्रेनिंग चल रही है ट्रेनिंग। हाँ बताओ, कोई दिक्कत क्या? हाँ, तुम नहीं दिक्कत। निकाल। यार बहुत लंबा वीडियो हो गया।
Now we need to start. Let's give the reference.
प्रोजेक्ट खत्म कर दिया होगा मैं, मुझे एक्स्ट्रा काम करना पड़ेगा।
Is clear. I'll just give a recap. So you need to add the Profinet IO controller under the ETH port which you use. Then under that, please add the right GSTML file based on your adapter. Backside the adapter, you will have the numbers. So based on its compatibility, you can use the file and then choose the right PPO type and do the mapping. Coming to the programming part, and here you need to enter the station name, ABB drive hyphen the number that is mentioned in 5125. Then you need to use these two function blocks, drive control ACS and drive scaling. Okay, so that's about the Profinet. Now let's move on to the next protocol, that's Profibus. Profibus DB. This is also one of the serial based protocol for communication. So here also you will be using this is supported only in AC500 standard PLC, not in the eco PLCs. So you need to use CM592DP. So this is the master module for Profibus and VC sorry 300 sorry 500 V3 PLC. And on the drive side you need to use FPBA01 adapter. So you need to install the relevant GST file from for this also, and you'll be using the same log that you use for Profinet. So on the drive side, FPBA01 is required, and you need to use your Profibus cable and connect it on the CM592 DP card. So as I mentioned, you need to install the right GST file which will have the PPO types. So in 51 group, you need to enter the node address, baud rate, PPO type and the profile. Then 52, 53 remains same what we discussed in other protocols. Okay, so now let's do the configuration. Since for this we require a standard PLC, I am having PM5675. Let me rename this. Okay, now in the slot 1, I need to add CM592. So here already automation builder, since it's ABB, it will have the GSDML file. If you are unable to find FPBA, you can install it. So looks like FPBA is not available. Yeah, it's available. Let's try with this. If this is not working, then we will go with the. So here again we have two profiles, DPV0 and DPV1. Okay, so DPV0 is for cyclic and V1 is for acyclic. So let's see in drive what we have set, and the same PPO we will keep it here also. So I've chosen PPO 6. So as per the presentation we saw, PPO 6 comes under DPV1. So let me add DPV1, FPBA DPV1. Go to general. Here you need to enter the station ID. So it's 3 I have set in the drive. And then again you add the PPO. So we need to add PPO 6. So I can put here as drive status word, drive speed feedback. Okay. So first let's check the communication is established or not, and then we will look into the other parameters. So here I have this drives parameter. So in 5001 you will enable the slot 51, it will automatically detected 510. So this you should enter the station name, and then this is the baud rate, and here it's the PPO type, and 5127 you need to refresh. So if you don't know what is these parameter numbers, you can refer the FPBA manual. So from this you can get to know what is 51010203 and so on. And 5253 you will enter status word actual, what we saw in the mapping, and this is control word and reference. Then group number 20 you will enter it as field bus, and 22 and 28. Okay, so this is all the parameters. Now let's log in. So you can see here configured slave 1 and active slaves 1. So it is communicating. In case it's not communicating, it will show one slave with a diagnosis. Okay. So here again the GST file, the station name, baud rate, PPO type is important. Okay. So now let's do the programming. What we did it in Profinet. So let me copy paste. Okay, it's the same block that we will be using for Profinet, Profibus, everything. So you're getting error because libraries are missing. So please add the library. So after adding the library, the errors are gone. So let me compile. Okay, there are two other parameters that I need to define. Okay, so now we got an error-free program. I hope this blog details you all understood, which we used in Profinet. Now let's log in. Okay, so you can see the drive is communicating. How you can check is you can check the status word is coming and it's showing tripped. So you can reset it. So now let's start. So yes, it started. It's showing as operation and status word also has changed. Let's give some reference. So it is rotating. So you can also monitor the values even in the IO mapping. So you can see here the status word. Here the current DC voltage. Okay. Okay. So like this you can establish the communication for Profibus. Any doubts? So basically, the diagnosis, we don't have any blocks with respect to the drives. Like if you're using CM579, that CM579 diagnosis we will have. Drive side, you need to take the faults details only and do the diagnosis. So basically here you can scan and then check whether your devices are getting detected or not. So only in Profinet or Ethernet IP you can scan the devices. Okay. So that's all about the Profibus. Any doubt? Okay. Then let's break for 10 minutes. If you have any doubts, you can ask. Otherwise, after the break, it's 3:30, 3:40 we'll connect. After the break, we'll check about Ethernet IP protocol. Okay.